Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Untethered. Today, we are switching the talking points again, and we went from current events last week into politics this week. And today, we've got a whole bunch of stuff that we're going to be bringing up. Um, you seen the look on Mark's face. He's pretty enthused about this one because we are breaking it down. This is where I think he's going to start getting dirty. He's going to become a dirty, rotten British dude and like go all freaking nuts. I thought last night his head was going to explode, but I think this is going to really send him over the top.
I think you just attempted to drive me insane.
Roger tends to avoid politics because he knows it'll start a crap storm between us.
Yeah, well, see, for me personally, what it is like Untethered is something that I've been trying to avoid for years. I was into this kind of politics back in the day when I first started the Praetorian, and the amount of freaking garbage politics is just overwhelming. You know what I'm saying? And it got to the point where it was disgusting, to be honest with you. Then me and Mark finally decided to do Roger's real-time talk show, and that all pertains to like political history and the way politics worked throughout certain time periods. So I was okay with that, and then freaking the more I started doing that, the more I noticed Mark has an itchy finger to talk about a lot of this stuff. He has a love for these topics, dude.
Fun enough, when I started my Minds account back in 2016, for the first year, let's say the first 8 months, I was just talking about UK politics. Then I decided to. Then I realised that everybody was talking about politics, not UK, but mainly US politics. So I decided to actually delete all the content on my channel and start talking about more technical issues, more IT related issues. So yeah, and some of my real world friends would call me very sort of politically, I wouldn't say active, but politically opinionated.
Yeah, I noticed that. Another person who I noticed is very politically opinionated, but he doesn't try to let everybody onto it, is Mr. Robot. Mr. Robot comes from Australia, and this is how opinionated Mr. Robot is. Before I started the stream, Mr. Robot wrote talking points up that he wanted me to add in for today, and not once did he mention anything about the Australian elections that are taking place today.
Yeah.
Today.
It's funny. I've got a love-hate relationship with politics. It's like I feel like I need to do it for the good of my own understanding and take an interest in what's going to happen next. But at the same time, I feel like it's just watching a slow motion train wreck half the time. So
Yeah.
Exactly. We'll get into that.
Now, what we've all three said right there will let everybody know that this is what you're going to expect for the remainder of the episode, because even though we're doing politics and everything, we have a love-hate relationship, like Mr. Robot said, so you're not going to hear a lot of propaganda that's being brought in about making America great again. Well, you might hear that from Mark Edworthy because he loves American politics. He loves it.
If you say so. Yay, America. Hey, yay, US. Yeah.
But anyhow, with that being said, we need to actually get into the first topic. Now, the first area that I want to start out with is the tariffs. Now, everybody knows that we're in the middle of what they prefer, what they like to call the tariff wars.
Speaking of making America great again,
Yeah. Now, the best way that I found to get into that, which would relate to like the tariffs on an international level, is to kind of talk about a lot of these meetings that Trump has been having with um, foreign diplomats.
well, before you do that, can you just, for people who aren't familiar, tell them a little bit about what a tariff is and how they have been historically used?
Well, last year we were discussing it in Roger's real time talk show, and it was talking about England when they first started putting in their socialist policies. The conservatives were in power with the Tories, and they believed in using tariffs as a form of trade. Now, the socialist movement actually was against tariffs because they believed that when you set tariffs down uh, on products that are coming into your country, it causes, instead of inflation, deflation. And deflation, in turn, is, according to the traditional beliefs behind it, is supposed to cause unemployment, and it's supposed to cause the price of products going up that are being brought into the country. So,
At the same time, if it doesn't happen, you get to like what the West is now, is where the currency is so strong that you're not competitive on the international market, and therefore no one's buying your stuff internationally, and so that causes unemployment as well, because now you don't need to produce as much stuff because people aren't buying as much stuff. So,
and the big thing about that is like, you'll hear a lot of people making this big push where it causes unemployment and a drop in hours and stuff of that nature. Me personally, I don't believe in the 40-hour work week. I think that was probably the worst mistake that freaking anybody ever came up with. And I say that for myself too, because like for me personally, like sitting here doing this stuff, if this was a job, I would be doing way more than 40 hours a week. Okay.
It is worth noting that the US, on sort of medium average, full-time workers are working more hours than any other country in the world.
I believe that the 40-hour work week thing.
Okay.
The 40-hour work week thing was decided upon by the ruling class in the 1950s to keep us busy so that we don't ever basically, become a competition for them. So the idea was to make us work harder, tax us more, and give us less. And that way it sort of always keeps us in this.
The 40-hour, 38-hour in the UK working week, it actually comes out of World War II. It comes out of Patrick's mentality during World War II.
Yeah.
Now, Leon Bloom is actually the guy who came up with it. He came up with it in France just before World War II. He was the one that wanted to implement a crap load of socialist policies in France. The Popular Front government is who voted in the 40-hour work week. They were led by Bloom.
Socialist or communist?
It was socialist. You see, you have the First International and the Second International. The communism didn't come into being until the Third International.
Yeah.
So
it's a bit later.
So you had all of that going with that. But for for uh, for me, I'm starting to see that even getting a little bit crazy because now, like a lot of the socialist countries, like over in England and Australia, you guys are wanting to lower it down even lower to like 30-hour weeks and 20-hour weeks.
I don't understand how you think we're socialists.
Well,
I wish we
your policies are based off of English government.
yeah.
Not everything. We're just making such a broad statement, sir.
The thing is,
Not,
the
yeah.
word socialism has been sort of corrupted, in my opinion. It doesn't mean, like, it isn't used now the way it was originally intentioned to be used. And, you know, a lot of people throw the word socialist around nowadays, and it's sort of meant to be a negative thing. When in the past it was about cooperative enterprise and creating prosperity for everyone.
Where did you hear this shit?
Well,
Well,
that's
that's
just how
true.
I understood it.
Look at the fundamental principles of what you would call our socialist healthcare system. Well, it is a socialist healthcare. The principle of it is a good idea, rather than having the US sort of free market ideology, which, as we've seen in the US, has caused healthcare costs to rise dramatically.
It gives access of healthcare to people who can't always afford it by harnessing the power of collective investment. And like, whereas in the US, you have the privatized system, which causes a whole bunch of people to get bankrupted when they get sick. You know, so
Well,
there's a lot to be said for it. I
well,
think.
when you guys talk about this, though, I mean, you're talking about freaking a government uh, a government regulated healthcare system. I mean, if you're going to make it free, why don't you just make it to where anybody?
It's not free. I have to
Hold up,
stop
hold
you
up.
on that one. It's not free. It's free at the point
You
of
guys
access.
want your
It's still being
utopian?
paid by taxation.
You guys still
Therefore,
want
it's not
your
free.
utopian future? Let me finish. Okay, you want that utopian future to come to everybody. Okay, so let's do it like this. Let's say that no matter who you are, when you need help at the hospital, you go into the hospital without any kind of medical card or any kind of thing that says that you are allowed to have universal health care, and they just treat you, and there's no bill. You walk away, and you never have to see a bill come to your freaking mailbox.
True. We're still paying in taxes. But
No,
this is but there's a wider
you do that
issue
because
there in relation to sort of foreign sort of or let's say the tourist healthcare sort of thing, where we get people from all over the world just come into this country to enjoy our healthcare and then disappearing. So
Well, that
for
doesn't
them,
make
it
sense.
would be free.
what's wrong with that?
Well, it gets exploited
we
and
the
costs a lot of money.
British
So.
taxpayers are paying for it.
You guys want that though. You want that universal health care. I mean, it's
Not universal for the country. It's like a type of
oh,
it's
so
for the nation, right?
so now
It's to make life cheaper for the people living there, so that the essentials are taken care of, and people don't have to worry about survival. That's the idea of it, in my opinion.
so now it's only for those certain people and not for everybody.
Well, look what happened to your country when you just started letting illegals in, and now it's a bit of an issue, right? Like, they started putting them up in hotels, and
It's not really.